Hey everyone, thank you for tuning back into my YouTube channel. Today I would like to do an episode for my playlist, Seasonal Patterns. And what spurred this idea on is the fact that in the last 2 weeks, I fished 3 different bodies of water and caught fish cranking. There's a specific thing that makes it effective, specifically this time of year. I mean, there's gonna be different ways to catch them wherever you are in the country, but kind of in my part of the country, in Texas, but I feel like it would work just about anywhere. There's some things that you should consider for catching fish this time of year. Of course, we're in November, but this really starts to begin late September and run all the way through November. And depending upon how warm the water is, might even be later than that. Before I get right into it, I noticed there's some people that don't subscribe to the channel, and that's fine if you want to do that. But if you'd like to help the channel grow, which I would certainly appreciate it, please hit the subscribe button. And if you like the content, you like the video you're watching, please give me a thumbs up and drop a comment down below. That would surely help, and I would appreciate that as well. So the tactic that I typically like to use this time of year, and it really doesn't matter where I am, I feel like it'll work just about anywhere in the country in that early to late fall time of the year, and that is cranking. Cranking is just a great way to catch them. And when I say cranking, I mean shallow cranking. I like to crank in, say, less than 6 feet of water. And the number one thing that I want to do is I want to find bait. Sometimes it's on the main lake, sometimes it's in the pockets, sometimes it's in the creeks. The majority of the time, it's in the pockets and bays and creeks, but every once in a while, you'll find them out on the main lake, and this will work there too. Your bait selection will help you catch more fish. You can use other baits, you can use certain sizes of baits, but bait selection is key in my opinion. I really like smaller crankbaits this time of year. This is the Bill Lewis MR6, but smaller type crankbaits, say that 1.5 and smaller, even 1.0 square billed crankbaits in shad patterns can be great this time of year. And what I like to do is, number one, get around the bait. Number two, get around some sort of ambush item, whether it's a dock post or a stump or a grass bed or a creek channel edge or a little rocky point, something that the fish can set up as an ambush point and just begin cranking. Throw that crankbait around those bait fish and you will get some bites. I think the key with it is finding out what type of speed and cadence they want it in, and that'll also key you into how many more fish that you could possibly catch during this time of year or that day on the water. So a smaller crankbait, this is like I said, this is the Bill Lewis MR6, and it's probably about a typical 1.5 size crankbait. And what I mean by 1.5 is there's a lot of different crankbaits out there that go by that numeric system: 1.5, 2.5, some have a 2.0, some have a 3.0, a 3.5, 4.0. So that 1.5 kind of size, which that MR6 kind of fits into that category, is great. But a 1.0 size crankbait can be just fantastic for mimicking the young of the year bait fish. You know, there's a shad spawn that happens kind of after the bass spawn, the shad spawn kind of, and sometimes it coincides, but you have basically a shad spawn. And I think that kind of kicks off around 70 degrees, depending upon where you are in the country. Once that starts to go and you have warmer nights and maybe a full moon, the shad will spawn. And those shad that spawn back in the spring are now just a little bitty. They're about the size of a 1.0 size crankbait or a 1.5 crankbait. And some places you go with the water being clear, they're gonna be more specific on the exact size. You may have to fish a smaller crankbait. And then some places you'll go, there'll be bigger shad. But you want to match the hatch as much as possible, or at least the size of the bait fish that you see in your area. For me, it's a lot of threadfin shad, but you'll also see like little glass minnows, silver sides, and different things like that swimming around, and they'll eat those too. And just the presence of those little minnows will enable you to find fish faster, in my opinion. If you find the bait, you're gonna find the fish. And then sometimes the fish aren't really relating around cover so much as they are relating to the bait. They'll just follow those schools of bait. And again, this is typically something that I employ in less than 6 feet of water. And the other bait that I fish is a smaller lipless crankbait, like a 1/4 ounce size. This is actually a 3/16 ounce size, brand new one from Bill Lewis. This is also called the hammer trap, but it's that mini hammer trap because it's a 3/16 ounce size. And again, a smaller shad pattern and a smaller profile is gonna be key. Fish it around grass, stumps, rocks, wood, docks, anything that has the bait fish around it. Mimic those bait fish. And then also you're gonna wanna kind of play with your retrieve. Sometimes it's a stop and go. Sometimes it's a burn it and then run it into something. And once it ricochets, they'll hit it. Sometimes it's a lift drop type yo-yo, but try different retrieves, and that'll really help you kind of get a better idea for what the fish want on a given day. But that's the seasonal pattern that I would say for kind of this October, November timeframe, which we're in. It's something that works every fall, no matter where you are. I mean, I fished a Bassmaster Open on Lake Martin in Alabama and caught fish on a square bill there, some that I weighed in, and that was a real key deal for me also. So thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. Hope you guys are getting out there and spending some time on the water and catching some fish. Until next time, thanks for watching and good fishing.